DC,
Yes.
you know the storyline, right? The former training partner angle.
Yep.
You know who's got the edge. Can you help us, as somebody that's been in the room, like how much does that really matter? Like how practice went.
It plays a part. I mean, it does play a part. If I'm being honest, here's the deal. Generally, the challenger or the guy that isn't holding the belt doesn't call for it unless he saw something that makes him believe that he has a shot, right? So when I say something like someone knows who won those goals, one of those guys know. And I think Usman separating himself from the training camp, distancing himself from those sessions, allowed for him to refresh his mind and forget about what happened if Gilbert got the best of him, or allows him to refresh and say, you know what, I was getting the best of Gilbert before. I need to maintain that over him. But one of those guys know who won those sparring sessions.
So where does the edge lie? Is it strictly like psychological and mental, or is it tactical? Because like, hey, I know exactly what he does in this position. I know how what his go-to is.
I think it's more of trying to get him to a position where you might have had more success. So if there's a position on the ground that Gilbert Burns had a lot of success in, he'll force that, try to get it back there. If Usman did a great job of taking him down with certain takedowns, he will attack that takedown first. Those are where the advantages will lie come Saturday night when they fight. Where and how good are you at getting to that position that will remind the guy, oh, I struggled with this before, to try to play a mental part on him.
And Usman is nearing these like record-breaking levels, right? I mean, do you get the feel that he's underappreciated as a champion?
I think Kamaru Usman is fantastic, and I think that the way that he is perceived in the world of mixed martial arts, and not only mixed martial arts but in sports, is a bit of a disservice, because the guy has not lost a fight since he's gotten here. He is a dominant champion, a guy that has shown on so many occasions that he can go and fight with anybody. I think that the fight with Colby Covington showed a different level of who Kamaru Usman is too, because that was difficult. He couldn't take him down. He fought where he was uncomfortable for 23 minutes and finished a very tough Colby Covington. Kamaru Usman is underappreciated, if that's even a thing, when you've won and defended the belt in the fashion that he has to this point.
Yeah. As dominant as he has been, I am curious, so this is why I'm so intrigued by this fight. Is Burns like the perfect stylistic matchup to potentially beat him?
And that's why I think this is so amazing to everyone. Anyone in the know, anyone that has any knowledge of fighting understands that this is the toughest fight for Kamaru Usman. Not only because of the shared time in the gym, but also because of the way Gilbert Burns fights. I mean, the guy's fast. He has unbelievable knockout power, second to none jiu-jitsu, and just a confidence about him right now. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to figure out. Stylistically, mentally, physically, Gilbert Burns matches up as well as anyone in the welterweight division, and this is the absolute best fight that the UFC can make at 170 pounds.
Yeah, I agree. This has been all about the main event, but is there a fight or a fighter that caught your eye this week, or that you're just most excited to watch?
There are some tough fighters on this card. Up and down the card, people are trying to really raise their stock and go to the next level. I think you look in the co-main event, that's a fantastic fight. Macy's been away for a while, and she's fighting Alex Grasso, who looked fantastic since going up to 125. Then honestly, I think that Miranda Maverick is, after her debut performance out on Fight Island, has a very tough fight in front of her with Jillian, and it's going to test and show whether or not this young lady is ready to go to the next level. And it's up and down the card. I hear they're yelling in the back their names. Like, I can't list everybody. I don't even know. But a lot of great fighters, a lot of great fights, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Last thing for me, have you yet, or are you planning on pulling Dana aside and telling him to leave your boy Khabib alone, let the man retire and enjoy himself?
You know what, man? I think you continue to, as a promoter, you have to do that, right? We have to understand that as a promoter, you have to get one of the biggest stars in your organization to try to fight, right? So if there is an inkling of a chance, you continue to press down that path. And that's what Dana's doing. One thing I do know, though, if Khabib has his mind set on something, it ain't going to change.
I was going to say, do you think there's an inkling of a chance? Because Dana said, he's like, hey, he's taking the meeting, right? He's going to dinner, right?
Well, he's constantly going in there, right? So obviously, if he's meeting with him, if he's talking to him, you don't know, right? Because Khabib's respectful. So if Dana White says, let's go to dinner, he will go. So you never know. I don't know what it is. I actually don't spend much time thinking about it at this point. I'm just going to see when it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll just continue to live our relationship as it is.
Daniel, over here to you. If We've seen it with John Jones and Rashad. Now we're seeing it with Gilbert and Usman. Is it almost impossible for the champion not to feel a little bit disrespected from a teammate coming to get the belt?
Absolutely. I mean, I think anybody that would be a champ and has one of his former teammates saying, I want what you got, is very disrespectful. And it does motivate you to a degree. And I think we saw that with Usman, right? He said something about having the ability to send his daughter to school where he wants to send her, and Gilbert decided he wanted to take that from him. So I think in that sentence, he let you guys know how he's feeling exactly, and that's a little bit disappointing.
You've said a couple of times that they know who got the better of them in the sparring. So for the guy who knows he didn't get the better, what do you do mentally to overcome that?
I'll tell you one thing, man, knowing that, see, here's the difference, right? Here's the difference for me. Because I knew what would happen in the training when I would fight Cain Velasquez, I never challenged him for the title. You understand? Because I didn't know what I could change in order to beat him. So whoever didn't win, it must be close enough to where they feel they could make the necessary changes in order to change the outcome of what was happening in the gym.
Just to get your reaction on a couple of things Dana said, they're looking at Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington now.
Yep, that's great.
You're just interested in your thoughts on that fight and how you would see that one going.
That's an absolutely great fight. That's going to test Leon in the areas that he struggled with Usman. The last time he lost was to Kamaru, and Kamaru took him down a lot of times, right? Colby will try to take him down a lot of times. If he shows a mass improvement and can beat Colby Covington, then maybe you say, you know what? Him and Usman in a rematch, if Usman wins this weekend, makes sense now. Now we can justify that the result may change. It's a fantastic fight. I still wonder why not Masvidal? Those guys have a lot of history. Masvidal punched him and 2 strikers. But in terms of seeing if Leon Edwards has made the changes to challenge for a title, this is the matchup. From a fan's perspective, probably the matchup with the chicken reference.
What do you do with Masvidal now?
I don't know. I think, certain guys, like, they get to a certain point in their careers where they kind of pick and choose. Sometimes you end up as the odd man out. So right now, what happens? I mean, Nate Diaz wants to fight again. Maybe you go back down that path. There are options for Jorge Masvidal.
And then Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor. Looks like that's the one it's going to be. In your mind, how did you see the second one play out, and what do you think could happen in the third one that's different or even the same? Well,
Conor had success in round 1 of the second fight, right? But Dustin started to really find his timing and found a real weakness in Conor's game. 4 months, 5 months, I don't know when they're going to fight again, but that is a lot of improvement you need to make in a certain area in terms of McGregor in order to counter those kicks. That's a quick time and a quick turnaround to try to change it. So, dude's got some work to do, but he's got a great camp behind him. And but man, Dustin Poirier is a dog. He said it. He said, I don't love doing this no more, but I'm an absolute dog. And he'll be ready to fight again.
Last one for me. John asked if you're going to ask Dana to leave Khabib alone. Are you going to ask him to leave Ariel alone?
Oh, no, that's not my business. I tell those guys all the time, that's between you. Listen, Ariel's my guy, right? We don't all have to have the same friends. But he's my guy, and I enjoy doing my show with him and everything.
So they've never asked you to play Peacemaker, DC? Ever?
Who? Between
Ariel.
those guys? No. I told them I don't want to deal with that. I don't deal with any that. Listen, man, those guys had a great relationship in the past, so something must have happened to change it, but that's on them. All I can take care of is my relationship with the guy.
I listen to you every Monday. What's more annoying, the promo code never being DC or the fact that he has a new holiday every week?
Well, the holiday thing the holiday bit's pretty funny. I like it. Now, granted, listen to this. The holiday bit has now become a thing. Because on SportsCenter now they're doing holidays. I'm like, you guys stole our deal? Like, so they're stealing our deal on SportsCenter. So it's fun. It's a fun show. I enjoy it. I enjoy being able to do all the stuff that I love so much. So it's good.
Real quick, what's more likely to happen? Ariel talks to Khabib again or Ariel talks to Dana again?
I think when you look back on Dana and Ariel's relationship, that would probably be the one that would come together because they had a good relationship in the past. But again, I can't really speak to those guys' relationship. That's on them. I can only maintain my relationship with the boss and then my relationship with Ariel and opposed from each other. And those, to me, are good.
Thank you.
No problem.
Over here, other side. One more.
Okay, one more. Okay.
Yeah, last one. What's going through your head when you see 43-year-old Tom Brady win his 7th ring?
Absolutely nothing. How much I'm enjoying retirement.